Real Estate Ninja here. I'm about to show you two stories that if they don't get you fired up, then you have no comprehension what has happened in the history of our financial system dating all the way back to 2005. Germany is about to wreck the US housing market. I teach cycles for a reason. There is nothing new under the sun. What blows me away though is how few people understand that actual fact. History doesn't often repeat itself, but it does rhyme. That's the dumbest thing I ever heard. That's just somebody trying to coin some new phrase. You want to know why they say that it rhymed? Was because most people don't want to fess up to the truth that no, things repeat themselves incredibly. Look at clothing, fashion lines, trends. You go through the 60s, the 70s, like, I'd never wear that again, only to find it, wait a minute, they're wearing that crap again? It's because there's nothing new under the sun. Now, Germany, we're going to go over two stories. But before I do that, I want you to understand Germany's collapsing right now. You know, the once hailed superpower of the Euro bloc? I've said ever since I started this channel and the Economic Ninja channel, that Europe will collapse first. And we have a signpost. This was based off of prophecy, but we have about 8 to 12 weeks after that it hits America. Well, you know what's really cool about that? It's actually happened in the past. You see, in 2005, Germany fell into a sharp, quick recession. Most people do not remember this. And what happened was the banks were hemorrhaging, not only in Germany, but the reverberation from Europe crossed the ocean into our banking sector. You see, the banks are global. So when something gets hit, like in China with their commercial mortgage-backed securities collapse, it's affecting banks in America. Well, when Germany fell into that sharp recession in 2005, they needed help and they needed bailouts from the Eurozone. And so Europe came together and fixed them. And it blew my mind as I was preparing for this big real estate crash that was coming way back in 2010, 2011, 2012. Then all of a sudden we started seeing the Eurozone collapsing in 13, 14, 15, Cyprus, Greece, other countries hemorrhaging money, and Germany was running around like the big bully on the block. And it blew my mind that none of the media would cover the fact that Germany was the baby of the block getting wrecked in 2005 and actually sent shockwaves into our mortgage-backed securities platform in the US. There were stories about that. I've read those stories to people on the Economic Ninja channel before, back in 2005, 2006, the systemic shock that actually woke up the mortgage-backed securities fraud. Now, right now, we have mortgage-backed securities fraud that's being found out. And the reason why we know this is because Freddie Mac has actually started in a probe into this, and they are now jumping on top of all of these banks that are trying to sell them paper for not giving them the proper due diligence prior and following Freddie Mac's government guidelines. You're going to see this mortgage-backed securities crisis come out in the next few months. It'll probably take till the end of Q1 of 2024 for news stories. And I'm going to be following it. But this is why I teach cycles. If you understood how these cycles played out, we're going to get to the German story and we can timestamp it so everyone sees it. But I want you to understand, if you want to get prepared right now, that's why I wrote this course. And the cool thing is, Black Friday deal. You get the how to prepare right now for the real estate crash, and 2 bonus courses for $289. Go check it out, links below. But that is going to be your equalizer. Because right now, you need to have conviction inside of you to be able to make good, solid decisions. Because central banks around the world and governments are positioning themselves. Why shouldn't you be positioning yourself? Everybody's getting excited about a little reprieve. I already said that was coming too. In the 10-year bond market, and mortgage rates are dropping. And you're going to see this little section, this little get sucked in moment, but it's even worse than that. In 2024, they've got something planned. So to everybody that already has the course, I set up a new bonus lesson because I'm still adding lessons to that course. Even though it's complete, I add bonus things as things change, because you need to understand this. And there's a trap coming in 2024 for you, for a lot of mortgage buyers. That's what you need. You need time saved and money saved. And time saved right now is a lot. And you don't have a lot of time. Ironically, you have years. But once people start getting ready, they always tell me the same thing. I wish I had more time. I wish I had more time. Because once you see how big of a deal this is, the story in Germany is going to be a big deal. It's going to take down the Eurozone. The Eurozone is already so fractured right now, and then the time clock starts for America. 8 to 12 weeks. Watch it. And it'll be well documented on this channel and on the Economic Ninja channel. And that's when we pull out the videos and edit them and go, warned you there, warned you there, warned you there. Yeah, the goofy guy on the tricycle. I did it for a reason. Because I wanted to wake up real people, not fake people just trying to get a buck and they'll cheat, steal, and lie to get it. So here we go. There's 2 stories out of CNBC right now. Germany is collapsing. People don't understand that. This is the early stage, so it's not going to seem like a lot, but you'll see in a handful of weeks, or a handful of months, sorry. So let's start here. First story out of CNBC. The vice president of Germany's central bank has a warning for lenders as insolvencies rise. It says Germany's major banks need to increase their provisions for non-performing loans as corporate insolvencies and credit risks mount, according to Bundesbank Vice President Claudia Buch. The Europe's largest economy has been dubbed the sick man of Europe. This is following what happened in 2005 perfectly. But remember, time is sped up right now. By some economists, after entering a technical recession earlier this year, while economic activity faces further downward pressure from a collapse in construction. Lawmakers in Berlin are meanwhile scrambling for solutions to a developing, think about this word, they're scrambling, to a developing budget crisis. You have scrambling, you have crisis. The keywords are coming out. It's going to get better, trust me. That could threaten the future of the country's coalition government. Like the rest of the Eurozone, the German economy is dealing with a rapid rise in interest rates. Why? It's because their inflation is exploding. They were warned about this in 2017, just so you know. As the European Central Bank took its main deposit facility from a record low of negative 0.5% in September of 2019 to a record high of 4% in September of 2023. Lawmakers in Berlin are meanwhile scrambling for solutions to a developing budget crisis that could threaten the government. I will say that actually the financial sector dealt quite well with this increase in interest rates. At the same time, the full effects are not yet visible. Now, I'm telling you, this is cycle work at its best, because one part of cycles is something happens. Something happens to an economic environment, and it takes a certain amount of time for it to filter through to the masses. That's why it's so easy to determine what's coming next in the U.S. housing market. All right? At the same time, the full effects have not yet been visible, so they haven't really worked their way through the balance sheets of the banks. And this is why we caution the banks as usual. Buch told CNBC's Annette Weibosch on Wednesday. There are so many things happening in the banks. Right now, we have over 700 banks in America alone. 700 banks, not branches, banking companies that are so insolvent, so upside down that they cannot clear the ratio that they need to have in the bank overnight, that they have to go to the Federal Reserve and ask for money, okay? Think about how bad it is in America right now. And what blows me away, and if you're a simpleton and you're like going to say something, this guy's doom and gloom, you're an idiot. I can't stop, you can't stop the idiots, right? Type 1 if you guys agree with me. But to the 99 out of 100 people watching this video, you get it. You can't see it, but you can sense it, because there's data points coming in from everywhere going, all right, the Fed's got an emergency repurchase window open. They didn't do that until after Lehman Brothers closed their door in 2008, okay? Interest rates are skyrocketing, which we all know means less people can buy homes. Okay, that's exactly what happened in 2004. Okay, gotcha. Germany's crashing. Okay, they did that too before that crash. All these bad things are happening, and it takes some time to work through to the sheep, right? This is such an amazing story I'm bringing you, and I hope you understand that, because you're not going to see this kind of thought process going around the internet, putting Germany together with the US economic crash. See, our banking system is a global system. It has its hands all over the world. As a matter of fact, your pension system is now global. Your pension is tied into derivatives all over the world. And one day you're going to find out, but you're probably going to find out the hard way. I don't want you to find out the hard way. So it says resilience. She goes on to say, resilience is really of utmost importance at the current juncture. The banks are highly profitable at the moment. And I think it's good if they use this profitability, very important to listen to this, to increase their resilience. This is the most low-toned, mellow warning I have ever heard. All right, you guys are really profitable right now. You better start propping up your own banks because we can't do it. Think about Moody's just now downgraded Bank of America, Chase, JP Morgan Chase, and Wells Fargo. And the reason why is they said, we do not believe the government is strong enough to backstop you when you crash. This is epic. And all of it's going to come out in 2024 and 2025. It's going to keep getting worse until it gets better. Now, it says here, German banks enjoyed a strong third quarter, with Deutsche Bank posting net profit of 1 billion euros, right? And Commerzbank more than tripling its net profit from a year. You're like, then why? Think about this. Why is the central bank vice president coming out warning? It's because they see what's happening today. Just like Best Buy came out. It's Black Friday right now. That's why I got the Black Friday course special down below if you want it. If not, don't worry about it. It's really cool though, because I started that course. I wrote that course in December of last year. And so a lot of it has already come true. I said, okay, this is going to happen, this is going to happen, this is going to happen. When you see all these things happen, you need to do this, this, and this. And my students come and contact me and they're like, oh my gosh, just like you said. I'm like, that's what the course is all about. It's supposed to save you time to get your mind set up now to get ready. This is cool because Best Buy just came out and said, don't expect a lot from our Black Friday numbers. Amazon, Jeff Bezos is selling stock. Jamie Dimon selling stock in his bank. JP Morgan like, oh, hey guys, just so you know, they're doing that because they see what's happening right now in their balance sheet. See, all you see is what they reported on what happened 3 months ago. And it's just like the Berkshire Hathaway thing. Every quarter, what have we seen? We're selling stock, we're selling stock, we're selling stock. It's almost like all the rich people are telling you what to do if you just follow what they do. Now, the sad thing is you only find out what they do 3 months late, right? But then you watch these cycles. Wait a minute, they've been selling consistently every quarter for a while now. They're building a cash hoard to not panic the markets because they're such big players. So think of this. So this is something else she says. This is the vice president of Germany's central bank. Provisioning has increased a bit, but if you compare it to historical averages, it is still at a relatively low level, and the same actually holds for corporate insolvencies. So corporate insolvencies, which actually came down over the past 20 years, have increased slightly, but are still way below historical averages, she said. Now, she quoted 20 years ago. Well, wait a minute, 20 years ago would be 2003. That was right before they had a bunch of crashes. You're like, well, wait a minute, that encapsulates that. So what I want you to understand is Germany went into a sharp, deep recession in 2005 without corporations having such high insolvencies. They are rising right now. She says, in all likelihood, given the structural change that we have, given the uncertainty that we have around us, corporate insolvencies are likely to increase. Credit risk is likely to increase. And this is why on both sides, from the macro prudential side and the micro prudential side, really make banks aware, let me find my spot here, of these risks and urge them to increase whatever they can, their resilience. Okay, now let's stop here. This is so amazing. You have a central bank vice president of one of the biggest economies on earth, Germany, right? Germany has run the Eurozone like a bully for the last 15 years. All right. Look at what she's saying. This is a direct quote. And I want you to understand, these are very well scripted notes that these bank presidents come out with, central bank officers, and it's a big deal. They're telling you so much of this. They're saying, given the structural change, there's change, something's changed. Yeah, it's not looking good, that's the change. We have given the uncertainty, that's, don't blame us, things are changing, right? Corporate insolvencies are likely to increase. Credit risk is likely to increase. That means that credit is about to shrink. And people don't understand that. During the last phase of the crash, when real estate's plummeting, you want to know why real estate's plummeting? It's because nobody can buy it. Nobody can qualify for a loan because they've pulled back so much risk off in the banking sector. You have to have primo credit. You have to have reserves on the side. You have to be ready to rock and roll, and then they'll give you the loan. But just like the Great Depression, think about it. That was like the worst ever, right? Only 1 in 4 people didn't have a job. And you might think, that's horrible. Ninja, I can't believe you'd say that. That's horrible. No, it's actually not. That means you could sell to 3 other people. 3 people had a job. But out of those 3 people, and this is why it exacerbates a crash, even if those 3 people had money, they're not spending. More likely due to fear. And so that's what that course does. It levels you up because it's going to eliminate the fear, because I show you how this crash is set up, how it's happening, what you could do to prevent it for yourself, and how to take advantage of it. And when everyone else is scared as homes are going down, you're going to be buying them up. And when you buy them on the right cycle, you'll end up refinancing and buying the next one with the refinanced money, and then that, so on and so on. And you'll do it essentially no money down. All you need to do is get ready for buying the first house at the right time and purchasing it right. So if you want to level up for $289, that's the Black Friday deal. It's down below. If you don't want to, that's totally fine too. I'm just looking for the best students on earth to go out and absolutely dominate this crash. To everyone that owns that course, please go and check out the bonus content I just put on the whiteboard about the plan that they've got for us in 2024. All right, with that being said, the Real Estate Ninja is out.